Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakandridamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishabhano Sade Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyehe Vacha Paditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nihityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Rama Ramo Hare Hare. Reading from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Jaiva Dharma, 15th chapter, Jiva Tattva. So Brajanath is asking Raghunath Das Babaji Maharaj in regards to the jivas. Brajanath, please explain the eternal nature of the jiva even more clearly. Babaji, the jiva is atomic consciousness and is endowed with the quality of knowledge and is described by the word aham. And maybe you have to ban karna hai. Fan? Maybe, right? Slow. One number. He's the enjoyer, the thinker, and the one who comprehends. The jiva has an eternal form which is very subtle. Just as the different parts of the gross body, the hands, legs, nose, eyes, and so on, combine to manifest a beautiful form, when established in their respective places, similarly a very beautiful atomic spiritual body is manifest, which is composed of different spiritual parts. However, when the jiva is entangled in Maya, that spiritual form is covered by two material bodies. One of these is called the subtle body, Ling Sharir, and the other is called the gross body, Sthul Sharir. The subtle body, which is the first to cover the atomic spiritual body, is unavoidable, apariharya, from the beginning of the jiva's conditioned state until his liberation. So, when the jiva transmigrates from one body to the next, the gross body changes, but the subtle body does not. So, spirit soul is there, ourselves are there, spirit souls, Satchidananda Swarup. And then, so the spirit soul is covered by the subtle and the gross body. So the gross body is changing, even in this world, as Krishna says, Bhagavad Gita, Dehin usmin yata dehe kamaram javaram jara, tata dehanta praptir dhiras tatra anamuyati. So that is very visible. That is very clear. So, from boyhood to youth, old age, and then the time of death, and one is giving the present body, and one will get a new body according to one's consciousness, according to one's activities in this world. Subtle bodies is there. Ahankar, the false identity that I'm a man, I'm a woman, or I'm a lawyer and a doctor and so on. And then so the material intelligence is there and the material mind. So the subtle body is accompanying the soul, covering the soul and accompanying from one body to another body. So here it is mentioned, it is not changing. So in the sense that, so the ego is there, intelligence is there, and the mind is there. So the subtle consciousness. Of course, to some extent that is also changing. Because, for example, one becomes a doctor and then he will identify with that. I'm a doctor now. So the subtle body is there and the false ego. And so basically also identifying with the gross body. I'm a doctor now. But sometimes one may give up the profession and do something else. And then the ego will have some kind of change. First was a doctor and then he gives up and then he does some business and I'm a businessman now. So but so with the gross body it is more visible and from youth to old age and so on. So whereas the subtle body, and so especially then the intelligence is there, and the intelligence, even it is explained actually, that is the ego in the mode of passion, the mode of ignorance, and the mode of goodness. And similarly, even the intelligence in the mode of goodness or ignorance or passion. So that may change also to some extent, but it is less evident. So the things are changing in this world. That is the nature of this world. It is manifest, it stays some time and then it will vanish. So whereas as spirit soul we have a permanent relationship with Krishna. Permanent mood, sthai bhav, like the gopis, Krishna is my beloved. So that is always there. Or Maria Yashoda thinks Krishna is my son. That will always be there. But even there are so different moods may be there. And even so the gopis, sometimes they will think that oh, Krishna is my friend, or I'm the maidservant of Krishna. Sometimes they may manifest, but the permanent ecstasy which is there is Krishna is my beloved. That is not changing, never. That is eternal. So whereas in the material world, the gross body is changing. So from boyhood to youth to old age, and so the appearance may change to some extent, and the activity, and so the consciousness, so maybe sometimes in goodness, sometimes in passion, sometimes in ignorance. So, but according to one's previous activities, so one may be, for example, more predominantly in the mode of goodness, but still then sometimes passion and ignorance may be there. So just like the Brahmanas, so they are in the mode of goodness, and usually that will stay. But then sometimes mode of passion is there, ignorance, but even then sometimes one may then give up this activity. And then one is known as Dvijabandhu, a friend of a Dvija, of a twice-born of a Brahmana. If he's changing his occupation, which may be there also. But that is more rare. So changes are there in this world. But but especially the gross body is changing very visibly, whereas the subtle body, well, it is more subtle. And so the subtle body is always accompanying. It is the same subtle body, but some little changes there. The gross body there may change very much. Or maybe human being, if one is then acting like a dog, he becomes a dog. So that is a big change. But then the subtle body is there and that is staying with the soul. But so the changes, some little changes there. And how to perceive the things and how to act. But basically this is the same subtle body. Whereas the gross body is changing all the time for the embodied being. So rather, as the jiva leaves the gross body, the subtle body carries all its karmas and the desire to the next body. The jiva's change of body and transmigration are carried out through the signs of Pancha Agni, the 5 fires, which is delineated in the Vedas. The system of Pancha Agni, such as the funeral fire, the fire of digestion and rain, has been described in the Chandogya Upanishad and Brahma Sutra. So the 5 fires which are there, the funeral fire, the fire of digestion and so on. So different, of course, things are there in regards to transmigration. But here specifically, the 5 fires are explained. The jiva's conditioned nature, a mosquito, kya hai? The jiva's conditioned nature and the new body is the result of the influences from his previous birth, and his nature determines the one in which he takes birth. After entering one ashram, he begins to perform karma again, and when he dies, he repeats the same process. The first covering of the eternal spirit form is the subtle body, and the second is the gross body. So Rajanath, what is the difference between the eternal spiritual body and the subtle body? Babaji, the eternal body is the actual original body and it is atomic, spiritual and faultless. This is the real object of the ego, the real I. Like, I'm Krishna's friend, I'm Krishna's mother. So that is the real ego, real I. The subtle body arises from contact with matter, and it consists of three vitiated transformations, namely of the mind, intelligence, and ego. Prajnath, are mind, intelligence, and ego material entities? If they are, how do they have the qualities of knowledge and activity? Babaji. Bhumi rapo nalo vayo kammana bodhireva chahanka ityame bina prakriti ashtada. Apariyam istatvanyam prakritim vidime param jibutam mahabaho yaedam darite jagat. Eda yunini bhutani sarvaniti upadharaya am krishnasya jagada prabhava prayastatha. My separated eightfold apara or Maya Prakriti consists of the five gross elements, earth, water, fire, air, and space, and the three subtle elements, mind, intelligence, and false ego. So besides this, Almighty Arjuna have a Tatastha Prakriti, which can also be called Paraprakriti, superior nature. The Prakriti is in the form of consciousness and the Jiva. All the Jivas were manifested from this Paraprakriti make the inert world full of consciousness. The Jiva Shakti is called Tatastha because it is eligible for both worlds, the spiritual world which is manifest from my Antaranga Shakti and the material world which is manifest from my Bahir Anga Shakti. So Prakriti is there, Bahiranga Shakti and Antaranga Shakti. So the Jiva is either under Antaranga Shakti or Bahiranga Shakti. So the Jiva is in between Tatastha. But the Jiva is superior to the material elements of this world. Since all created entities are manifest from these two types of Prakriti, you should know that I, Bhagavan, am the sole original cause of creation and destruction of all the worlds, of the moving and non-moving beings. So Krishna is the source of everything, of all the spiritual material beings. So the spiritual world is there and the Lord is performing his pastimes in the highest realm, Golok, but then he's also present in his expanded forms in Vaikuntha, so many Vishnu Murtis. So the spiritual world is there, and then by his desire the material world will manifest. So in the spiritual world there are unlimited eternal associates of the Lord who are always engaged in serving the Lord. So they are Nitya Siddha, eternally perfect. So when the material world is manifested and some of the other entities are there, so known as Nitya Bhada, and they will come to this material world and they will come under the influence of the external energy. But by association with the Lord or the Lord's pure devotees, then they can be engaged in the service of the Lord under the internal potency and be liberated, and they will also then remain liberated and not come back to this material manifestation, or they will not be conditioned again. These shlokas of Gita Upanishad describe the two types of prakriti of Sarva Shaktiman Bhagavan. One is called Para Prakriti, the superior energy, and the other is called Apara Prakriti, the inferior energy, also known as Jiva Shakti and Maya Shakti, respectively. The Jiva Shakti is called Para Shakti or Shrestha Shakti, superior Shakti, because it is full of little atomic particles. The Maya Shakti is called Apara Shakti because it is material and inert. So, of course, then there's a manifestation also of the internal potency. So Krishna himself is there, and Balaram and Srimati Radharani, Yoga Maya, goddesses of fortune, Saraswati Devi, and so on. And then, of course, there's a personification of the external energy. So Maya Devi, so who is also actually, we may see them serving the Lord to keep the conditioned souls in this world. Yes, so but then the material elements are there. So the jivas are superior to the material elements, so the material manifestation. The gross material manifestation, so the gross body, and the subtle material manifestation. So it is a very intricate subject matter. And so even the subtle body is superior in the gross body. And that is consciousness also. So that is superior to inert matter, to matter. But then the subtle body of the jiva, which is the covering of the jiva, which is material. But so, and in the conditioned state, so it is under the influence, so it is inferior than, for example, and in the Maya Devi, so the personified form of the external energy that we have to understand. So therefore, the living entity is struggling also. Daiviyeshu gunamaya mama maya duratyaya mameveye papantaya mameveye papadante mayam etam tarantite. You know the verse? No? Oh, you don't remember? You knew the verse before? By heart? Okay, you should learn. And but you know, but you don't remember. Yeah, and you? Okay, so things to learn. So, Daiviyeshu gunamaya mamamaya duratyaya. So basically there are two energies are there. The superior energy, Daivi Shakti, and then Maya Shakti is there. So of course ultimately the Maya Shakti is the expanded form of Daivi Shakti, of the internal potency, Yoga Maya. So which is more powerful than the embodied jiva, the embodied jiva. So, so the Maya Shakti is called apara inferior because it is material and inert, jar. The Jiva is a completely separate entity from the apara Shakti, which contains 8 elements. The 5 gross elements. 5 gross elements.
Gross elements.
Yes.
Prithvi, Jal, Vayu, Agni.
Yeah, Bhumi Arapo Nalo Vayu Kamana Bodhi Arevacha. So in English? Earth, water, fire, air, ether. Yeah. And the 3 subtle is the mind, intelligence, and false ego.
What is 5th?
The 5th, earth, water, fire, air, ether. Ether is like the sky, akash, so which is more subtle than the air. And the 3 subtle elements, mind, intelligence, ego, these last 3 material elements are special. The aspect of knowledge that is visible in them is material and not spiritual. The mind creates a false world by basing its knowledge of sensual objects on the images and influences that is absorbed from gross subject in the mundane realm. So the subtle body is consciousness. And so knowledge is there. But in the material world, of course, it is material knowledge. This process has its root in mundane matter, not in spirit. The faculty that relies on that knowledge. Okay. So yeah, on the hand, it's a good idea. Here on the hand.
Yeah. It's only the clothes.
It is only for the clothes?
But no problem.
Yeah.
No side effects and no.
No good, yeah. Mosquitoes. The faculty that relies on that knowledge to discriminate between real and unreal is called buddhi, which also has its root in mundane matter. So first the mind is there, which is creating a false world. And the intelligence, which is above the mind. So the mind is thinking so many things. I'm a hero. I should do this, I should do that. Sometimes being in the dream world, even during the day, daydreaming and night dreaming. You know, daydreaming?
Yes.
Very good in this?
Yes.
Okay, right. Okay, but then the intelligence is there, superior. I'm not the hero, and so one who is intelligent will know, yeah. I'm thinking. The mind is saying you're a hero. So, but we should know, we're not hero. So, yeah. Sometimes somebody's thinking, oh, I should become a doctor or this, but one may not be able to. So then if one is intelligent, he will then see the situation, no? To go to school and to then do the medical college and tough job. I do maybe something else. I do some business or so. So the intelligence may understand the situation and so should control the mind. And then one should try to, of course, ultimately, those are really intelligent, they will understand that I have to engage in spiritual activities, not just in material activities. And then if one is engaged in spiritual activities, then one will get spiritual intelligence. And Krishna will give knowledge by which one can come closer to him, by which one. And then it will be easy also to manage the things of this world. If one is more purified in consciousness and one is able to get this transcendental intelligence by Krishna's mercy, then things become easier in this world. The ego or sense of I-ness that is produced by accepting the above knowledge is also material and not spiritual. So material knowledge is there and material situation is there. And so intelligence will be acting there and adjusting to the situation and try to be in a better position. So, but there is no material situation, then the material ego will be there automatically. These three faculties together manifest the Jiva's second form, which acts as a connection between the Jiva and matter. And it's called the subtle body, Ling Sharir, Ling, or Sukshma Sharir. As the ego of the conditioned Jiva's subtle becomes stronger, it covers the ego of his eternal form. The ego in the eternal nature in the relationship to the spiritual son Krishna is the eternal and pure ego. And this same ego manifests again in the liberated state. However, as long as the eternal body remains, the external should be. However, as long as the external body remains covered by the subtle body, no. However, as long as the eternal body remains covered by the subtle body, the material self-conception, jara abhimana arising from the gross and subtle body remains strong. And consequently, the abhiman of relation with spirit is almost absent. So that is naturally if one is engaged in this material world, acting with his material body and the subtle body and identifying with this existence in this world, and the eternal body will not be manifest. The Ling Sharir is very fine so that the function of the gross body covers it. Thus, in the identification with the caste and so on of the gross body arises in the subtle body because it is covered by the gross body. All the three elements, mind, intelligence, and ego, are material. The abhiman of knowledge is inherent in them because they are vitiated transformation of the function of the soul, atma-vritti. So ultimately, just like, for example, the human being, so the embodied being, the embodied soul in the human form of life, so naturally will think, even if they don't have knowledge of the soul, like many people, they don't believe in the existence of soul, especially in the West. But they want to live permanently because That is the nature of the soul, to live permanently. So therefore it is there in the consciousness also. Because, so the gross body is functioning because the subtle body is there, and the subtle body is functioning because the soul is there, who is eternal. And therefore naturally the subtle body wants to live always. But then of course the soul, in the bodied soul, the subtle body there, in the gross body, will ultimately also know that one day I will have to die. But he cannot really accept, because it is not natural, because one is not the body, but one is spirit soul. But due to being in this world, and one will identify with the body and think I'm a doctor or man or woman, and one is getting old, I'm old now, and then I will have to die. But it is only the body which is becoming old, and then it will cease to function. Heart failure, or organs are not functioning properly. And then one has to leave this body. But the subtle body is still there, and it will transfer the soul to another body according to one's consciousness and according to one's activities in this world. So therefore we should also see that we are in a mode of goodness, and that we always engage in devotional service, and that we are positive, and that we try to help others, and then so that will be carried over. If you don't attain perfection, which is not easy, then it will be carried over one's good activities and one's consciousness. And then one will have a good situation in the next life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Question. You just mentioned in one's consciousness.
Yes.
You mean consciousness is also transmigrating? Like,
Yeah, the consciousness, the consciousness of course is governing the soul. So the consciousness is going, carrying the soul to another destination.
consciousness, it means like also including memory and mind.
Yeah.
So, but we don't remember anything.
No, something you may remember sometimes.
Yeah, some people correlate.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
generally,
No, but the impressions will be there in the consciousness.
okay.
Like if you're a good person now, then the next lifetime you will be a good person also. But if you're a bad person now, then that will be carried over. If you're always critical, if you're negative and angry kind of person till the end of your life, that they will be carried over, because it is there in the subtle body, and that will be there. So therefore we have to be positive, and we have to be kind, and trying to help others also, and then that will stay with us.
What about memory?
Memory? Yes, because actually when the embodied being leaves this world, so the gross body is destroyed, and then the subtle body, so the experience of that is of course, it is a kind of usually painful also, quite many times, not always, sometimes if one is especially in the mode of goodness, then one can be relaxed, and he will know, okay, now I have to leave the body. So, but maybe a little pain there, but if one is in a mode of goodness and detached, then it is less painful, and it is less shocking experience. And then one will be then transferred to another body. But the point is also, one who is in knowledge, he will know that I have to leave this world, and whatever happened here, and let me just forget it. We don't want to remember the things of this world. Why we should remember? But something will be there, as I'm saying, if you're positive, that will be there. Some remembrance. But then we give up this body, and then we are carried to another place, and then one will enter, of course, by the Lord's arrangement, and that will take some time to go somewhere else. So some descriptions are there, but then it depends on not only the Lord's will, but then also on the laws of nature and the demigods. Sometimes you're also thinking, well, this, like Yamaraj, okay, this person did this and that, and sometimes he's also thinking, so now where to put this Jiva here, where he should go. But then he will be put somewhere, so that is also, of course, described in the Bhagavatam or in the Puranas. So how the Jiva is then carried over. So it is not that taking out of the body and then putting in the womb of some other mother. No, this sort of process is there. So, but it is, of course, not so easy to understand and to determine also. Like the law of karma is very intricate. Where exactly now, if we are not perfect, where we will go in the next lifetime? So that is difficult to say for an ordinary person. Like if I want to go to America, it's a little easy, right? You have to get a visa. Because if you're in India, it's not so easy. But if you have Swiss passport, it's easy. I buy a ticket, okay, I'm going to America, to New York. So, but now I'm in this body, and now next, if I do not attaining perfection, so where I will go in the next lifetime? It's not that you can choose. So, but it depends on your consciousness, your activities, your devotional service, and then so Krishna will arrange where to go for a devotee. And for those no devotees, then the material energy is there, and the demigods are there, and they will decide where you go. Somebody will be thinking, I want to go to the heavenly planets. But it's not by your thinking, I want to go there, that you can go there. You must be qualified. So, and that is also then not sure. So somebody wants to become a doctor, so he has to qualify for that. Then he may become doctor. So, so when one is giving up the body, then by the process, according to material laws, then one will be put somewhere else. And so that is quite some time. If one is again becoming a human being, then one will be put. So, of course, first in the Jiva is there and taking shelter in, for example, so that is explained, the grains, and then the people are eating the grain and then transferred into material elements, and then the semen, and then afterwards being put in the womb of a particular female, and then one will, so then the shape will be there, embryo will be there. So that will take some time, and then one is in the womb for 9 months in a situation which is not so nice, and it is painful. So therefore the memory of what happened in last lifetime will be lost. But sometimes something is there by the Lord's will also. Especially if one is in a mode of goodness. One is in a mode of goodness and devotional, he may even see the Lord sometimes. That is explained in Bhagavatam. And he will understand, oh yes, again I'm in the womb of a mother. And then he may pray to Paramatma, please. I mean, I will come out of the womb and now I'm surely surrendered to Krishna. So, but that is not all the jivas, embodied jivas in the womb, they will be able to understand or see Paramatma, the Lord. And then anyhow, even somebody seeing, but then he comes out of the womb and then again, he will forget. So, even now, for example, what we did yesterday, I mean, we know something, but not everything. And what we were thinking yesterday, so many things. What was there yesterday in the Bhagavatam class? Who heard the class in the morning? Or this morning, you heard the class in temple, no? Yeah, anyhow. What did they say yesterday morning in the class, you remember? Yeah, no? No.
No, but this morning I went to Radha Kunsala
Okay. Which lecture?
about the islands and
Okay. Okay, fine. So you remember?
something.
Something, yeah. Okay, fine. Who gave the class?
Ananda Vartha.
Okay, fine, okay. Nice, okay. Yeah. So something you remember, but not everything, right?
Depends on the person. If the person
Yeah.
has the face and the person lives like how he's preaching, yes, it will come.
Yeah,
Well, if
of course.
not,
And depends, yeah, the capacity of or ability of absorbing. And some persons, they are more able because of being in the mood of goodness, because of being endowed with a good memory. So some people who have a very good memory, like Shruti Gita, they can almost remember everything. So but that is only very few people. So therefore, when we give up this body, and then the process is there to be transformed to another womb, one is in the womb of a mother in a human form of life for 9 months, then not much remembrance is there. But those in the mode of goodness or those by the Lord's will, somebody may be remembering things. So, by the mercy of the Lord, or so that in the next lifetime then one will be then remembering something, and then that will make one understand, and due to previous impressions that, yeah, actually, this body, we're spirit soul, and we lived before, and now we are living, and so we have to try to make our life perfect.
Is it happens every time Krishna comes in?
No, that's what I'm saying. No. Only sometimes. Only those who are in the mood of goodness and who are devotional, mostly. Otherwise not. The Lord is there, but we cannot perceive, one is not qualified. So, but some are gifted and they know something from last life. So, if for example one has some inclination, that means quite surely in the last life. Like for example, those who play sitar, many of them, they played last life also. Even sometimes they say 7 lifetimes, then you can become a perfect sitar player. 3 lifetimes,
Yes.
or maybe 3 lifetimes. Yeah. Even so, we have seen some small boys playing tabla. They're 3 years old. It's last life they already were playing. And then towards the end of life, they're still playing, and they hope next lifetime maybe I want to play again. And then they play again.
Also some
If they're pious.
mantras.
Huh?
Some chants mantras, like little ladies.
Yeah.
Is it for security?
Yeah, because one is pious, then one will be able to do that again. In the mode of goodness. So, and so like for example, when I was 15 or so, I was attracted to India. And I was thinking I should go to India. And then I saw some courses in the college, Sanskrit, Hindi, and Bengali. I was thinking I should learn these languages. I was attracted. I was almost enrolled myself. Then I thought, anyhow, maybe I'll go to India and then I can learn. And I came to India and I learned Sanskrit, Hindi, and Bengali. So, so like this, so we can understand. And sometimes some persons, they have some more remembrance from last life. Sometimes something is revealed, and then even sometimes some people, incidents are there, then they remember name of a village and something, and then they research, and then they can really realize I was this person in my last life. That is there. So, but not for everyone. It is also kind of karma. So, and then usually for those people who have some experience, then they are spiritually inclined. So, but even in the West, you can see sometimes, like those who, like was famous, what's his name, piano player was there. So many are there. And right from childhood also, they play. So maybe last life also they were playing. And if one is a devotee now, next lifetime will be devotee too, if one is not able to attain perfection. So, but we should be always positive and try to be a good devotee and try to help others. The next lifetime we will have the same. If one is angry in nature and criticizing this person, that person, then one will not be, well, one may not even become a devotee in the next lifetime.
What is the meaning of pious activity?
Pious, what means? Pious means good activities, punya. So,
The Sanskrit word?
Sanskrit, sukriti.
No,
Sukriti.
I mean it is English word or Sanskrit word.
What?
Pious.
Pious, this is English.
Bias.
Pious, not biased. No, pious.
Bias.
Bias means something else. Pious, punya, sukriti. Bias means something else.
Actually, there is one kheer in Bengali, pious. That's why
Pious, clear, yeah. This is something else. Pious. Payasam, South India also. That is sweet rice.
Yes, yes, yes.
Pious. You like
sweet
clear?
comes, sweet rice.
Yeah. Okay. Pious, yeah. Mm. Rajanath, I understand the eternal Swarup of the Jeev to be spiritual and atomic in nature. And within that Swarup is a beautiful body composed of spiritual limbs. In a conditioned state, that beautiful spiritual body remains covered by the subtle body, and the material covering of the Jeev Swarup in the form of the Jar Sharir causes its material transformation, Jarvikar, so the gross body. Now I want to know whether the Jiva is completely faultless in the liberated state. Babaji, atomic spiritual form is free from defects, but because of its minor nature, it is inherently weak and therefore incomplete. The only defect in that state is that the Jiva spiritual form may be covered through association with the powerful Maya Shakti. So the Jiva by nature is, so it is transcendental. It is always transcendental, the Jiva. But, so as explained also before. But the Nitya Siddha, the eternally perfected, the eternal associates of the Lord, they're complete. And they will never come under the influence of the external energy. So only sometimes it may appear like Arjuna that is bewildered by the external energy, but it is actually by the pastimes potency of the Lord. So that some bewilderment is there. but it is not material. So, because he's an eternal servant of the Lord. So, but then the other jiva, so the jiva shakti nityabhada, were since time memorial conditioned, by nature they are also eternal servants of Krishna, but it is in dormant form, or it is in seed-like form. So in this way, because their form is not manifest, therefore it is incomplete. It is not complete, because the form is not manifest. It is there in seed-like form. So it is not complete, it is not manifest. Yeah. So we are incomplete jivas. So, but the eternal associates, they are complete. If one is realized, then he's also complete. So you have to become complete, and then now you have to become realized, then you're complete. But if you're not realized, you're incomplete. It's very simple, right? Yeah? Simple? Yeah. So you're complete? No, okay. You? No? Oh, too bad, huh? So you hope to become complete. Yes. By chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yeah, we have to endeavor, but we need mercy. So then by mercy we can become complete. So we just have to be patient, and we have to be enthusiastic and fixed. We have to attain the goal. And always engage in spiritual activities and give up bad association being good association. Sato vrite. It is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, Yen yara vindaksha vimuktamaninas tvai asta bhavat avishuddha buddhaya arirya krichaneta param padam patata patantyado anadrita yusmad angraya. It's from Srimad Bhagavatam, famous verse. So it is explained, the Mayavadis, they will go to the Brahma Jyoti, but from there again they will fall down. Because they are not complete. They attained liberation from this world, but they are not complete. It's the spiritual world.
Yeah, in spiritual world.
Yeah.
Then how they fall down?
How they fall down? Because they are not complete. Very simple. Yes.
In spiritual world, no one fall down.
No, in this way, if you're complete, you will not fall down.
Okay.
If you are not complete, you can fall down. That's all.
Also,
Like the jivas are there. Those who are complete, they are serving Krishna. Those who are not complete, they don't serve Krishna. So then they can fall down.
But how is that possible? Because there are not three gunas. Three material
Yeah.
nature of the.
Yeah. So you see, when the material world is not manifest, then the jivas are there in the Brahma Jyoti. They will not fall down. But then when Krishna desires that let the material world be manifest, then the material world is manifested. And then this is like, now, for example, during the day, maybe in the afternoon there were no clouds. If there's no cloud, then you can see the sun's rays and the thousands of small particles are there. If the cloud is there, the particles are in the cloud, right? So like this, so the particles who are not complete, if the material world is manifest, is like a cloud. Okay? And the jivas who are there, they're then in the cloud. Okay? And the material world means the most material nature. And we're in the cloud, like we even say, he's in the clouds. Right?
Point theory is truth or no?
The Nitya Siddha, they will never fall down. They will never fall down. But those who are not complete, the jivas, who are not complete, they will fall down in the material world. Yeah, so they will fall down. And then Yeah. Then when the material world is manifest, the material world means what? Three modes of material nature. And the incomplete jiva comes under the influence of the modes of material nature. That's all.
But how the incomplete? I can't understand.
Yeah, because you're not complete. That's why you cannot understand, because you're not complete.
So we can is there a possibility for us to become complete?
Yes, of course. Yeah. When you realize your Sarup, means you're complete. You chant Hare Krishna and then you realize, oh, I'm a gopi. And then you're complete. And then you're in the exchange, loving exchange with Krishna. Then you can enter the pastimes and then no problem. But if not, then you have to take birth again. Even you go to the Brahma Jyoti, that is explained here. Because you're not complete. Like the Mayavadis, they're not complete. They know I'm spirit soul. They know only the beginning. But the spirit soul is there, that is true. But the spirit soul has a form. But they have not realized. So they're not complete. It's not complete realization. It is incomplete realization, incomplete liberation. The Mayavadis. They go to the Brahma Jyoti, but it is incomplete liberation. It's not complete. If you know I'm a gopi or a gop, then, and you know your name, that is complete liberation. So that is the situation. So, O Lotus Eyed Lord, non-devotees such as Gyanis, Yogis and renunciants falsely consider themselves to be liberated. But their intelligence is not really pure because they lack devotion. If you lack devotion, then you're not complete. They perform severe austerities and penances and achieve what they imagine to be the liberated position, merging in the Brahma Jyoti. But they still fall from there into a very low condition due to neglecting your lotus feet. Okay?
No.
What is, no, it's not okay?
No, I mean, sorry. It means like if I like serving, I should like involved or what?
No, that is for the Mayavadis.
Ah,
Yeah, because it is there in the book. I'm reading from the book, that's all. This shows that the constitution of the jiva will always remain incomplete. No matter how elevated a stage the liberated jiva may achieve, that is for the Mayavadis or the yogis. Only if you realize, or if you engage in bhakti, then you are complete. When you fully realize, then you're complete. Even I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul, I'm servant of Krishna. This is the beginning, but it is not complete. So you have to have complete realization of your Sarup. Then you will go to the pastimes of the Lord. That is the inherent nature of the Jiv Tattva. Jiv Tattva, that is why it is said in the Vedas that Ishvara is the control of Maya. Whereas the jiva remains eligible to be controlled of Maya in all circumstances. So that ends the 15th chapter of Jaiva Dharma, Jiva Tattva. So from one point of view, so the jiva is superior to the material world, to the external energy, but if they're not engaged in devotional service, then they are in Maya, so they are not able to come to the spiritual platform. So they are controlled by Maya. Hare Krishna. Okay, so you're going, right? When you're going?
Right.
In which time?
Early morning.
Early morning. Okay. Okay, which time?